Hello. In this video, I want to solve a common problem with the Next.js, specifically with the context provider. What is actually happening is when I select third colors, which applies to our pages, and then change the path name on the URL. Take a look. My state gets reset to first palette, right? Which is problem because user wants to browse around each pages to see how the colors are looking. So let's try one more time. Select the fourth one and then navigate to home. Then our palette gets reset. Let's check over here. So go to source tab and then open up the styles context. In my case, we have default palette that is mapped from style data coming from parent component, and then this guy set as a initial value for the palette state. I'm gonna put a breakpoint on the line number 52 and then quickly see what is happening behind the scene. So when I click the third one, the default palette is 1 because this palette is saved in my database, and the palette ID is 3 because I just selected this, right? So let's see. After re-rendering, third one is selected. But when I navigate to about page here, then default palette stays as 1 since this is default to 1. But palette is going back to first one again because this provider runs like a brand new on every single request. So this is the problem. There are a couple of solutions out there, such as using cookies, local storage, or session storage whatsoever. But I decided to use local storage this time. Okay, let's remove the breakpoint so that I don't get stuck in the video recording. Where do we start, right? So where you can find the local storage is over the browser. If you go to application tab and then local storage here, then you should be able to find list of data stored in the local storage. My plan is setting the palette key and then save the selected color palette object to value. So I'm gonna delete this one so that I don't have a trouble. So when I want to store this data is whenever, let's go to source tab, whenever this change palette is called. Okay, so I'm gonna put a breakpoint and then let's quickly test. So select the second one, my function runs, right? And then select the fourth one, function runs. No other situation runs this function, okay? So in here, I'll be setting up the local storage. So let's go over here. So in the change palette, I'll be storing this selected palette, okay? So here I'm gonna do local storage dot set item and then pass the palette here. And then the data that I want to store will be selected palette. However, this local storage is text-based storage. So I cannot store the JavaScript object. So what it means I need to stringify the selected object. So let's quickly test. So I'm gonna put a breakpoint here and then quickly take a look, okay? So select the third one. We're gonna get the palette ID and then find the color palette from our constant, right? So let's move to the next line. The selected value is existing. This is the object that I want to store into local storage, right? And then we're gonna stringify and then store it here, okay? So once we store, then the stored value will be visible in our application tab, local storage right here. So take a look here. So we, as you can see, the color palette is stored into our local storage. So what it means, we can retrieve this data and then set to our state whenever our styled provider run like a new on every single request. So here I'm gonna have useEffect hook, okay? So useEffect hook. Whenever this runs the first time, I'm gonna get the value from local storage, okay? So get item that is called palette. Then this guy will return JSON palette, okay? If JSON palette is existing, then I want to parse it, okay? So JSON.parse, because this one is a string at the end of the day, right? So I want to parse it to JavaScript object. So JSON palette, then this one will be palette here, right? We need to do some validation, but for now, I will just set palette with the palette that we are getting here, okay? So let's take a look. Now we are getting the value from our local storage. So let's quickly put a breakpoint to here. So here, when I refresh it, let me just quick, yeah, so it stops here. So now I am in the useEffect hook because this is the initial running. I refreshed it, right? So let's get the palette data from local storage. As you can see, this is the string, right? And then once the string existing, then we're gonna parse it to JavaScript. Once we parse it, it becomes an object, and then we're gonna set the state over here, right? Using the setter. So then this guy will persist, right? What it means, even though we go to different pages, our selected color palette persists, right? Looking good. So now what I want to do next is I want to apply the reset. Okay, so here this reset is not working, right? So currently we set the local storage, but there is no way that we can reset the local storage at this point. The problem is user doesn't want to see selected color palette always the same, right? So my plan is I'm gonna build a one reset function here. I'm gonna have reset. How I'm gonna reset is set palette and then pass the default palette here, okay? That's all it does. Then what it means, we need to make this guy available outside of this styled provider, right? So I'm gonna start typing it, just copy paste and then give the reset. And then we need to pass the default value too, right? So I'm gonna give the default value right here. Don't forget the comma. And then I'm gonna pass this reset function to our value that becomes global state, right? So pass the reset and then update the dependencies, right? Then at this point, this reset is now have a little bit of warning asking, hey, wrap this guy with the useCallback because React doesn't want to regenerate this function every single re-render, right? So I'm gonna just wrap it with the useCallback and then pass the necessary dependency, which is default palette. So looking good. So then what it means, this reset is available outside. So I'm gonna go to this form and then add this reset button to have a reset function. So let's go there. So color form. This guy is what you're looking at on the left sidebar here. Okay. So this guy, I'm gonna get the reset from use style to hook and then pass this reset function to our reset button. So on click reset, looking good. Then what it means, I can reset this guy, right? I can reset, I can reset, I can reset. But the problem is, take a look, when I refresh it, it goes back to the last one that I selected. So select the fourth one and then reset and then refresh. It goes back to the fourth one. That is because we are getting data from local storage. To prevent that issue, we need to reset our local storage with the key palette. So I'm gonna do that here. So local storage dot remove item that is palette. So then this will solve that issue. Let's check. So I'm gonna select first one, right, and then refresh, which is our default state at this point. Select the fourth one and then reset and then refresh. It stays as the first one, right? So looking good. So then you can check it here if you want. So go to application tab and watch it here, okay? So when you select the fourth one, we have saved in our local storage. So, and then when we do reset, it disappears. So what it means, we refresh it, we get the default palette, right? So looking good, looking good. So now another problem that I want to solve is when user go to pages, then user wants to focus on pages, not the colored palette anymore, right? Either user select the styles or pages or remove the sidebar. I want to set the state to default again. To make that happen, I'll be monitoring this search params, okay? So this search param is not colors, which opens up this color, form. Then I'll be resetting the state with the default palette. So let's go here. So what I would do here is I'll be getting the hook, which gets search params here. Use search params. Okay. And then my logic will be I'm gonna get the sidebar param from search params dot get sidebar. Okay. So I'll be monitoring this one with the useEffect hook. Okay. So I'm gonna have another useEffect hook that will be monitoring sidebar. Whenever sidebar runs, I want to do the if check. Okay, so if sidebar param is not equal to color, then I want to reset the function that we created down here, right? This function. So let's update dependency. Reset needed to be declared beforehand, so I'm gonna move it up here. Looking good, looking good. So then now let's take a look. So when I select here and then move out, it goes back to initial state, right? Oh, currently infinite loop is happening. So let's take a look. So the reason why infinite loop is happening is my reset function gets generated every single re-render. So what is happening is the default palette, this guy is not memoized. So what it means, this object is always brand new whenever re-render happens, right? So this guy is brand new. This triggers this reset function gets generated newly. Then what it means, this callback inside of this useEffect will run, right? When my search param is not color, then I'm gonna call reset. Then this guy will run, right? And then set palette. So this state change causes re-rendering, right? So what it means, default palette changes and then regenerate this function, and then this callback would run again, right? So it's like infinite loop, right? So to prevent this issue, we need to memoize this guy. Okay, so I'm gonna have useMemo here. First argument will be the function that returns this guy. Second argument is the dependency array. So in this case, styles data is the dependency, which is the data that comes from our database, right? So then if we do that, then you would not see infinite loop anymore. So let's go back to our original topic, right? So now when I select third one and then goes to either styles, it gets reset, right? So looking good, it is expected. Third one, go to home page, it gets reset, right? But when I select third one and then navigate to different pages, my state persists, right? So looking good, looking good. Just the monitoring here, right? So this will help, right? So when I go to styles, I don't have a palette local storage saved, right? So this is exactly what I want. Awesome, awesome. So then this will solve a problem for our color palettes, right? So looking good, looking good. I like it, I like it. So then now what I want to do is separating the logic inside here. This guy gets really busy, right? So what I want to do is I'm gonna create a hook called useLocalStorage. Okay, so in the hooks folder, create useLocalStorage.ts. This guy, I don't need the props. So here I'm gonna say useLocalStorage. And then this guy will not return anything for now. So what I want to do here is I'll be copy pasting. Okay, so the one that I want to copy paste is this hook. I'll be holding the state. Okay, and then second one is I want to, get the data from local storage and then set the state. I'm gonna copy and then paste. All the logic that is related to local storage gotta be here. And then we have change palette that sets local storage. So this one is a little hard, but what I would do is building one additional function that refs setter. Okay, so what I would do is I'm gonna cut it and then save it here. I'll be having one wrapper later, like such as set state. Okay, and then do necessary to set the state and set the local storage. Okay, and then the last one is the reset function. I'm gonna get this reset function and then pass to here. Of course, there are quite a bit of things need to be changed, right? So this guy needed to be very generic, okay? Because this will be used for many different places, right? Not specific to Poly only. So let's refactor here. So what I want to receive as a first parameter will be key, that is string. And then I'll be receiving the initial state, okay? State, we don't know the type because it can be used as many different places. I'm gonna use generic type here, T, and then pass the T here. And then this initial state will be set to our use state hook. And the name, change name to state, and then set state. So this setter, I want to add underscore here because I am gonna have one additional wrapper that is set state here, okay? And then this type will be T because that's what we are saving to our state, right? So looking good. And then this key will be used to get the data from our local storage, right? Get the key. And then when we set the state, I want to use this setter. So let's just check the logic here, okay? So here we're gonna get the JSON data from local storage. If JSON data is existing, then we are gonna get the JSON data parsed to JavaScript. This one will be new state, okay? Or existing state, which is from local storage, and then set existing state. Whenever like new request incoming, this guy will run, right? And then let's pass the dependency necessary. Okay, so this one is good. And then setting the state is a little interesting, okay? So here, what I want to do is copy paste this guy, okay? Because this guy will be the wrapper that does a little bit additional stuff. So then you should be able to receive the value, right? So this one will be looking like set state and then pass some state, right? So this value will be received right here, right? But this guy also can be the function too, right? So in this case, previous state and then do whatever, right? So there are two scenarios that we need to cover. So the value can be a function, right? Or the state, right? So I'm gonna do if check here, okay? So if type of value is the function, then I want to get the state, by calling the value and then pass the existing state, right? And then they're gonna get the previous state and then return the new state, right? So I'm gonna say const new state, right? And then once we get the new state, then they're gonna set state with the new state, right? So that is what is happening. Otherwise, setting state value, right? So that's the logic. And then we'll be setting the local storage, right? Either with the value or the new state. So we have a little bit of type issue, but let's resolve it. So this guy is saying tn function, right? So what it means, we needed to cast the type a little bit. So what I would do is copying this type and then cast it here, okay? So wrap with the round bracket as that. Then the type error is gone, right? So here I will refactor a little bit. I'll be rewrite it here. So const new state, okay? So I'm gonna use ternary, so I'm just gonna do copy paste. If this is the function, then we're gonna do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna just pass the value here. This will return the new state, right? Once we get the new state, then we'll be setting the state here. Then what it means, we don't need the bottom one. And then with the new state, we're gonna set this, data into our local storage, right? With the key that we are receiving up there. It's going to be key. Okay, so looking good. And the reset function will be very similar too. So when we reset, we're gonna set state with the initial state that we are receiving here, right? And then remove the data in our local storage with the key. Yeah, let's update with the initial state here. And then let me just quickly check. Yeah, just updating the dependency. So looking good, looking good. So then everything is good. So what I want to return here is I'll be returning the state and set state, which is wrapper of our setter, original setter. This guy does little additional thing, which is managing local storage, and then pass the reset function. So looking good. So when I have it, this guy return value is union type, which is no good, right? So, but we need to explicitly saying, hey, first one is a state, the second one is setter, third one is reset function. But if you hover over it, the inverted type is not correct. So I'm gonna, have return value that is tuple. So here I'm gonna say, you know what, let's make it easy. I'm just gonna copy and then paste here. So first element will be t, which is the state type, and then second one is the setter with here, and then third one will be just a function that returns void. Okay, so looking good. Let's just try to use it. Let me just delete the comment that doesn't do anything. Yeah, I like it. So now let's just try to use this guy. Okay, so here I'll be using local storage now. So use local storage. Yeah, looking good. Then what it means, we need to pass the key, right? The key that we want to pass is a string. The key will be palette. Okay, and then what we want to pass here is the default palette. Okay, so looking good. So reset function, we don't need it because we can get it from our use local storage, right? So reset here. Then what it means, we can delete this guy. Looking good. And then this logic, we already getting it inside here, right? So let's delete that. Yeah, looking good. Then change palette. Let's pass the dependency here. Set palette. Okay, so looking good, looking good. This guy, I think I even missed the one thing, but let's visit a little later. And then the rest seems looking okay. So one thing I have missed here is it's going to regenerate when set palette changes, right? So I think that's what I've missed. So I'm going to wrap this guy with the useCallback as well. So I'm going to wrap it here and then use a callback and then pass the dependency here. Okay. So then we're going to pass the dependency, which is key or state. So whenever state or key changes, we're going to regenerate. Okay, so looking good, I would say. So let's update a little bit more. So with that, our default value is used in one place only, no other places, right? So what it means, I can just, pass this guy to here. Let's just make it in line like that, and then delete this guy. Okay, so our code got much leaner, I would say. Let's reorganize a little bit. So move it up here. So all the variables stay, and the state is here. Style need palette, so it gotta stay here. Yeah, maybe this one we can bring it up too. So here I'm gonna bring it up to here. Okay, maybe down here. Yeah, I don't know. Whichever makes code a little bit more readable, right? Okay, so let's keep some space, right? Okay, so looking good. Let's quickly test. I think everything seems okay, but I don't know. Maybe I have bug, right? So I'm gonna start with from the beginning. So we don't have a local storage, right? Select third one. It sets local storage with the palette value, right? And then when I go navigate to about page, it persists because we have a palette local data. And then if we go, different sidebar by clicking this, it resets, right? Looking good. Test it one more time. So when I click third one, it has it. When I go to styles, it resets. Okay, so then what it means, it's good. It's good. So only time we want to persist this state is when user is in the color palette sidebar. Yeah, I think local storage is pretty useful in this case, in my opinion. But if you have a better solution in this specific situation, please leave your comment down below and then let me know your thoughts. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, I will continue in the next video. Thank you for watching. You have a great day. Bye now.